Hi, today we have Ammar from Dubai and he's running a startup called CodeRythm. So let's know the story behind him. How did this startup came into formation? What were the things that made him or that they brought him today to this successful startup? So yes, hi Ammar.
Hi Aditya, how are you?
I'm fine. So that. Let's start from the beginning. Let's know about your childhood. Where were you? I mean, exactly based, or where were you born? Where was your childhood?
All right. Before I get into my childhood, there's a small correction in your introduction. Our company has crossed that startup stage now because it's been close to a decade. So
Okay,
we are more like an SME right now. We started off as a startup. So now we are in that transition phase of moving into a SME.
that's
Uh,
that's
so yeah.
that's a really nice
Uh-huh.
thing. But I would like to tell you, we have some companies in India who have crossed $1 billion in revenue, but still call themselves as startups. If you know
Yeah, yeah.
what I mean.
Yeah. I know a lot of companies who still identify them as startup. I mean, we also have startup in our DNA, but we've started identifying us as a company these days. So yeah.
That's
So telling you about my childhood, I'm a '90s kid, so I don't know if I'm a millennial or something before that. So I have the mindset of a Gen Z, but unfortunately, I have my date of birth says that I'm 91. So I was born in Dubai. My dad was working here at that time, so he's been here for close to 50 years. He came to Dubai in '72. Just like a lot of people from Kerala, he migrated to UAE in search of better opportunities. And fortunately, I did get a very good education because my entire family was here. I'm not saying that the education back home is bad, but I had like I could take things from both the worlds. I did my education in Dubai as well as in India, so I was fortunate in that way to have tasted or experienced the education system in both places. I was here till my 10th grade. Till my 10th grade, it was uh, not very eventful. I was like any other child who was born and brought up in Dubai. It's more like a timetabled life here. I mean, during those times, your school bus comes at 6 in the morning. So we have two shifts during those time. We had a morning shift and an afternoon shift. So till you reach your fifth grade, you were in the morning shift, and after that you shift to the afternoon shift. So when it was the morning shift, your bus comes at 6 in the morning. Then you'll have to wake up at say 4:35, freshen up, go to school. The classes start at 7:30, and up till 1:30, 2 o'clock, the classes would go on. And it's summer here most of the time. So I mean, 2 to 4 people don't usually go out here. And after that, it's a little bit of playtime. Then you have homework. You go to bed. Same thing again. So this was how my life was till my 10th grade. So after I completed my 10th, I told my dad, let me experience what's there in India. So of the many things that have inspired me to or inspired me or motivated me to go back to India, one of those things was a movie. I mean, it would sound a little fancy here, but it was Bhagat Singh's movie, which made me very patriotic, and I wanted to move back to India to
the
to
Ajay Devgan
to
one.
give. Huh?
The Ajay Devgan one.
Yeah, Ajay Devgan one. I'm not able to recollect properly whether it was Ajay Devgan one or there were like three movies made on the same concept, right? So if I remember it right, it was Ajay Devgan's movie itself. So and Bhagat Singh was, I mean, I was a person who was always interested in humanities. So more than maths or science, it was history that excited me the most. So And also I wanted to experience the life there, the hostel life there, because here you're always with your parents and you're always in that comfortable safe zone. So we decided to go back. My dad was very supportive, my parents were supportive, and told me, yeah, you take a call. Yeah, one thing that I would like to add here is I was exposed to the world of computers at a very young age. So I remember I was hardly in my third grade or fourth grade. This was in 90s when my dad got me a computer.
That's nice.
So my dad was very much supportive of technological things, and he was always updated in that sense. I mean, he always wanted. I mean, he was. Uh, I mean, though he was not from the technology background, he was always a fan of understanding what's happening in the technology space. So he used to tell me those days that, I mean, just like any other kid of that age, I used to play a lot of computer games on my computer. But my dad used to say, you should look at Excel. People are telling really good things about Excel, Microsoft Excel. And we had a Windows 95 computer. This was before the internet came in. And one fine morning, dad was telling that, okay, let's get internet. So internet was like an alien word to us. So I was under the impression that, okay, internet is going to be like a small screen that's going to be placed somewhere, besides the monitor. But then we realized, okay, with internet you could do a lot of things. And those days, even before Gmail, we had Eudora. I mean, Eudora was a very common email client at that time. That was, if I understand it right, that was even before Outlook. So Eudora and Hotmail were the two main email accounts at that time. So Eudora was like a mail client. So you used to get, I mean, my dad had an email at that time. So his email was, I think, rusnam@etisalat.a. So Etisalat is like the BSNL here. So Etisalat was the email provider as well. So you would have the extension as etisalat.ae, which is the extension of UAE. And then Hotmail came. We created accounts on Hotmail, and then Gmail came. So way before that, I was exposed to this world of computers because uh, uh, thankfully dad was always very supportive in that sense, and he had a lot of trust on us, that we would not misuse computers, because those days computer was a taboo thing. I mean, computer was connected to
One
everything negative.
one question about your dad. Is he a businessman or was he working?
He had a business and he was also working, so he was both. So
Okay.
he was an entrepreneur in a sense, and he was also working here.
Okay, that's the
So
reason he was
after
giving you opportunities, being an entrepreneur.
pardon.
That is why he was giving you opportunities to he being the entrepreneur, so he knows what opportunities are. That is why I wanted to
Exactly.
talk to you and ask that what was your dad
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah, yeah. He was working with him. I mean, he was working with the Salad, and after his retirement, he was fully into business. He was running a restaurant chain. I mean, restaurant here. He had like two, three restaurants in Dubai.
That's nice.
So
So
that's pretty much about my time in Dubai. And yeah, I mean, again, in those days, when computer was being introduced for the first time, just like you see laptops on display in shopping malls in India and elsewhere, you used to have computers on display where people could go and experience computer.
yes.
Okay, this is a computer of Windows 95 operating system. So I used to go, I mean, whenever my mom and dad used to go shopping, I used to be in that section where all these computers were on display. And guess what? I used to be playing that game, Minesweeper. You remember Minesweeper? There's a lot of boxes and things
Right,
like
right.
that.
You
So
have to detect the minds.
mines, yeah.
Yes.
So that was my early exposure to the world of computers. And after that, yeah, I moved to India for my in Kerala we say as plus one and plus two. In
Hmm.
Karnataka we say UC. So 2 years I was in a hostel, and that was like a paradigm shift for me. I mean, in terms of the people I met, in terms of the exposures that I had, because here in Dubai, when you live with your parents, when you're a day scholar, the kind of friends that you have, and the kind of friends that you have when you move to a hostel is entirely different, because you're going to spend day in and day out with these people. So you get to learn a lot of things. You get to experience a lot of things which otherwise would not have happened. I mean, people who are really good at studies, people who are really good at sports, people who are really good at music. So hostel usually is a blend of all these people. So that's where I had my first experience selling something. Okay, so the reason I got it this way was because I wanted to tell about the experience where I had, selling something. That was in plus two, where during those days, this was back in 2007, 8. Fancy sims were a major thing. Fancy number sims. So you
Okay,
had
fancy
like
numbers, golden numbers, VIP
yeah,
numbers, triple nine, triple
VIP number,
nine eight five zero
the
six.
triple.
Yes, right, right,
So
right,
your numbers like 9846 000 666. So 9846, two zeros, and numbers like that.
right, right, right.
So this was way before Geo coming into the picture. You had Airtel ruling the space. You had, I think it was Idea or Vodafone. I don't remember. I think it was, or both of them existed, I guess. But Airtel was the leader, and in Kerala, Idea was also doing well at that time. So we used to, me and my friend, who's still a good friend of mine. So we used to buy sim from vendors and sell it. So we used to get numbers like 9633 000 666. We used to ask our maybe not friends, people who are elder to us. I mean, my first customer was my brother itself. So he brought it from me. So we made some money out of it. And during those days, getting that 500,000 rupees was a very big thing, because you buy something for like 2,000 and you will sell it for 3,000. You're making, a profit of how much ever it is. But that thousand is like a big achievement for you.
Exactly. That's the
So
first gig.
yeah, yeah. So that was like the first experience of earning, money. But that was not like a very structured business, I would say. And after that, I completed my 12th. I The reason I came to Thrissur, which is in Kerala, was because Thrissur was considered as the Kota of Kerala. You had a lot of entrance coaching centers there, and you had someone called PC Thomas, who's considered to be a legend in that field. So people who go to PC Thomas used to have really good grades, but unfortunately or fortunately, I never cracked the government entrance exam. I cracked the Manipal entrance exam. I got into Manipal, but after I got in there, I realized engineering is not my thing. So after the first year, I came out of it. I had an year back, and that's when I mean, Manipal was uh, a slow life for me. I mean, nothing exciting happened at that time. But I personally think my turning point in life is when I moved to Bangalore after that. So
So
from Manipal,
from Manipal, you made after first year, you quit, you left engineering, and then
yeah, I left engineering, and then I came to Bangalore. I was late, and my brother passed out of Bangalore. That was in '90s, so he connected me to one of his friend who was staying in Malaysia. I went and visited him, and I told him most of the colleges, the admissions are over, because by the time you get your results from the engineering college, it would be late. That you realize that you are already late. That you
yes.
have a year to repeat. So I didn't want to repeat. So I came to Bangalore. I didn't want to do engineering. I wanted to do something related to computers. So BCA was an option. So I went to my brother's friend and I asked him for suggestions, for advice, and he gave me Jain University as an option. So he said it's a deemed to be university, so they might be taking. I mean, they might still be taking students. They might have like 2 or 3 seats left. So I went there. I was like 1 month or 1.5 months late after the classes
One
began.
month late for second year or first year?
First year, I have to repeat. I mean, BCA, I'll have to start it from the
Okay,
beginning again, because those
okay,
are two
okay.
different. I mean, what I did there was BE, and
Hmm.
here it's BCA.
Okay.
And even in BE, I never got computers as my. I mean, with my rank, I got like three options. One was biomedical, the other one was printing technology, and the other one was instrumentation. Three of them did not excite me. Instrumentation was a little exciting, but then I wanted to have, IT or CS, but CS required a lot of better, lot better grades. And then fortunately I got into Jain University. So since you are coming from this engineering background, the first year was like a cakewalk, because the amount of grinding that you've had after BE, once you switch to BCA, you'd feel like, you're just able to crack it in a day. And you just study a day before exam, and you're going to get really good grades. So the first year was really good. I mean, first sem was really good. So me and my friend, who was selling SIM cards, so he was a senior. He was an year senior to me in Bangalore now. So he was doing his BCom there in Ramia College.
Okay.
So we were still together. So this entrepreneurial, stint again came in. I mean, that bug again came and, hit us. So we started, after looking out for a lot of options. We started a juice shop in Bangalore, a small time juice shop. Okay, so this was the first formal experience into the world of entrepreneurs. I still remember we had the shutter opened. I mean, the day one, altogether we could do it for 75,000 bucks. 75,000, including the first stock, we could have it up and running. All right. So that was in my second semester. It was a very, very small shop. I think hardly 50 square feet. So you're from Pune, right? So you would have seen a lot of juice shops in Mumbai. So
Yes.
very similar to that. You have juice shops. You have a small. You couldn't even say a counter, small section for tossing the bread and things like that. And we had appointed a staff there. His food, his accommodation, all of these things were taken care by us. We ran it for close to 9 months, after which we realized that our studies were taking a hit. And because early morning we used to
Bye.
buy fruits from the market, carry it on our shoulders, come here. Once you reach there, you'll have water problem, you'll have electricity problem, you'll have to go around running, fixing, and by the time you're done, you might have to bunk your class that day. So second semester, my grades also started affecting, because I already had a year back from Manipal, and I had to do better. So the guy who was working there, he was interested in buying it from us. So we had a deal. We did not make a lot of money. We did not have a loss as well. It was like a no loss, no gain kind of thing. We sold it to him. So this was our first entrepreneurial formal thing for me. And then I finished the second year of college was good. I mean, the college life is always amazing. And third year, uh, I got campus placed. So I was, in fact, the only. I mean, I was the first person to get placed from my batch. It was in a company called as Goldman Sachs. So uh,
I mean, that's
I still remember. Huh?
that's nice. Being the first batch
Yeah.
placed in Goldman Sachs, this is a dream job for many of them.
Yeah, but there's a twist to it, because there were a couple of things. I mean, I had like 4 rounds of interviews there, and this juice shop experience actually helped me crack one of the interview, because they had like a 4 interview process. So you clear the first round, then you go to the second round, you go to the third round. So in the last round, the interviewer asked me, like, there are 10 people seated outside, so we just have position for one person. So why should that be you? So I was like, okay, what do I tell these guys? We had like a similar question asked in the previous interviews, I mean, previous round as well. So there, I had told him that, I was born in Dubai, and Goldman Sachs comes with a lot of cultures and a lot of people from different backgrounds. So I said, I'm already exposed to that, and I could crack that round of interview. And this interview, I couldn't repeat the same thing. All right. So I told him about this juice shop experience. So he was like, "Oh, wonderful. So how do you prepare apple juice?" Then he started asking me, "Okay, how do you prepare orange juice?" And I was able to tell that, because I was working, and I used to prepare juice. I used to make sandwiches there, because you're an entrepreneur. You'll have to do all kinds of jobs when you're running something, right? So fortunately, this experience helped me. to gain a job as an investment banker in Goldman Sachs. I got in as an intern. They gave me a full-time job, but uh, I did not take up that job because I had this thing in mind. I need to get into a technical role. So there, my job was an investment banker. I still remember my friend telling me that, I was going. I mean, they gave me this offer. I completed 2 months of internship, and the 2 months of internship in 2013, they paying me around $8,000 a month was like a dream job for me, because $8,000 is way more than what you get as pocket money from your parents, during those times. So
Yes.
I made, like, I still remember I had like 15, 16K after working there for 8 weeks. And after I got this job offer from him, from the company, I was not interested. So I was talking to my friend. His name is Shreyas. So we were classmates. So I told him, Shreyas, I'm not taking this job, man. I don't want to do that. And he was like, why? I said, I want to do a technical job. He said the same thing that you said, man. It's a dream job for a lot of people. I said, I don't know, it doesn't excite me. And then I went to the placement officer, and placement officer like, no, if you reject this, then you cannot sit for the interviews. I said, I don't want to do this. And I had to reject it because I didn't want to do it. So I rejected the offer. Uh, and then I took up, no, I mean, fortunately, they allowed me to sit for another interview, which was ITZ Infotech. I joined as a QA engineer there. Uh, but the amount of things that I've learned 2 months working in Goldman Sachs to this day, that helps me a lot. I mean, how to talk to someone, or how to draft an email, how to convince someone on something, because the kind of culture that they have in Goldman Sachs is wonderful. They have a flat hierarchy. I mean, a person coming from a college, all right, addressing someone who is a VP, okay, who's seated just beside you by name, is something unthinkable, at least for me, because we are used to the sir culture, right? I mean, so you address that person as John or Mark or whatever his name is. So that kind of a culture was truly, amazing. But you take certain decisions in your life which you find, you feel that that is right, and you go on with that. So I did not take up that job. I went to ITC. I worked there for a year. uh, but even in ITC, after 6 months, I was like, no, this is not the place I have to be. I have to start something on my own. All right. So maybe, okay, we started from childhood. I'm just taking it long. So you have any questions in between, or?
The journey is very much inspiring. I don't want to question your journey anywhere.
All right. So uh, I joined ITZ. ITZ again was a good experience for me on the technical front. If I have to compare between these two companies, both are good companies. But Goldman Sachs has helped me more as an entrepreneur, is what I would say, because the other one was like a purely technical job, and the kind of exposure was more. I mean, the 8 weeks in Goldman Sachs, the kind of exposures I had was amazing, because my I had to do a project during my internship, and the project was about Swift code. So you run a company, so I'm sure you're familiar with Swift code. So Swift code was getting introduced in Indian market at that time, or something like that. So I did a research on that, and years later, I'm using the Swift code on my invoices. That was like a very good moment for me, and the project is what inspired me a lot, because with this project, I mean, in order to do that project as an intern, I could block the calendar of a VP. I could. I mean, there's no hierarchy. I mean, if you want to talk to a VP who is in some other department, you could just go to your internal portal, block the calendar, and talk to that person. I did that, and I used to collect a lot of information from him, and that helped me also to devise a solution to them. I mean, the last 2 weeks was completely for project related works. The first 6 weeks, you actually working there, helping people work, understand what their process is, so you get good trained on the go. So it was more into buying shares, selling shares in a larger quantity of bigger companies. So ITZ, after 6 months, I felt like I have to start something. Then first I started discussing with a with one of my junior at college. So he also wanted to do something. So he was into hacking and all those things. So in college, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. A lot of people are not very technically sound, in college, even if it's a technical college. That's what I've seen in the places where I've been. So this guy was technically good, so I did have some discussions with him, but unfortunately it did not take off because we did not have that sync. And then I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was telling him, "Hey, I have this thing. I have to start something." So this guy was one of my partner in this juice shop. So we had like four people there. So he was one of them. He was like a silent partner there. He was just uh, investing in it.
Sleeping partner.
So yeah. So this guy told me, okay, we are planning out something. He and his friends are planning out something. Why don't you come and join? So I was like, okay, that's exciting. I'm in Bangalore. I took the bus that weekend, went back to his place. So here's where we had the first meeting. So it was I mean, all the people who were supposed to be part of the team was there. We discussed about a lot of things. I mean, whatever we discussed then did not actually realize. I mean, as in, like, whatever product idea we had that time is not something that we ended up doing. But that was the starting point of CodeRythm Technology. So that's something that happened in 2013. Yeah, 2013, second half of 2013, because I remember putting down my papers in ITC in October, November. I had like a 3 months notice period and I had to serve there till January. So in 2014, we decided Bangalore should be the place where we start our office. So we had a home office, and yeah, we took up a 2 BHK. One bedroom was converted to an office. When you see an office, it had a table and it had a couple of chairs and a stable internet connection. So that makes it an office. And the other
So
room we used to.
when you just, I'm asking about code rhythms. As you said, the code rhythm started. So
Mhm.
was it a service sector company, or were you planning something else?
Okay, that's a good question. So we always wanted to, and we still want to be a product company. All right. So we've tried, tested, failed a lot of products. So what has actually worked in favor of us are service works, which is like agency works. So a major part of our revenue now comes from the agency itself, but we in the background we always have that thing to develop products, and that's still going on. I mean, we have a plan to launch a product next month as well. So primarily it's an agency. So telling about CodeRhythm, it's a custom solutions company. All right. It's a custom solutions company which acts as a digital enabler or a digital transformation company for businesses that belong to different business domains. So we have worked with clients from e-commerce to hotels to education. A recent client, the one that got launched yesterday, one of our application went live yesterday, is into the media space. So we worked across domains. Uh, so yeah, um, we are primarily a service-based company. We are a service-based company. That's how we would like to identify ourselves.
I would like to ask that the meeting which you joined that day, was this profile discussed in that meeting, or you had something else in, as you said that we had something different in mind and still it is not yet channelized.
Yeah. So initially, we decided to build a POS, point of sales, which we did. We did do that. Okay, but we realized that by the time it came out, I mean, it was too early in the market. So we developed a POS solution which could be run on an Android tablet, which could be connected wireless to a Bluetooth printer, and could be used in kiosks. I mean, small kiosks. So one of our customer for this was a Momo shop. I don't really remember the name of that Momo shop because that is not existing in the market. They also closed down. They had like 5 to 6 chains then. So small kiosks outside colleges and all. So that was our primary target because we saw that Pizza Huts and KFCs were already having uh, computer based POS. Let's target this market. So the target was right, but there were few things which made us early into the market. One, the hardware support was not great. the Bluetooth connection always had a problem, and this is one industry where it should be like error free. You type a bill, and if it is taking time, they are losing their customer. So that was like a good learning for us. And selling that also had a lot of challenges because we are a very ethical company. I mean, we stick on to some ethics. All right, so for a POS, we cannot have two types of accounts in it. We we just have,
I
one type
understand.
of account. So we are like a straightforward company, and we stick to that.
So this is
So
you are talking in 2013.
this was in 20. By the time it got launched, it was 2015.
Yeah,
2013 is when I was working with these companies.
2015 is pretty early for this stage. Means I'm just trying to figure out the era where these things now these things are pretty much normalized. But in 2015, I think so. Android was penetrating. WhatsApp was getting normalized that time. I mean, everyone
Exactly.
was still playing Angry Birds and Temple Run in 2015.
True.
So
Yeah.
these all technologies which you are talking, it's like now everyone is using. But in back in 2015, people were enjoying Angry Birds and Temple Run and getting new
Mhm.
to WhatsApp. So that is the era. So you are
So
pretty early.
2014 February is when we started the development of this. So that development was also not very structured because we did not have a Figma in place, or we did not have the mockup. So we used to iterate, and by the time, I think the first sale was done in October of 2014. Okay, and then we had this Momo shop coming in, which was a good customer, which was in 2014 November December. I still remember. I mean, the first payment was for $7,000. So 7,000, or I think including the Android printer, tablet, and everything, it was 21,000. So our software cost was 7,000, and the first payment was made in cash. And during those days, I mean, 20,000, there were no limits in cash payments. This was like in 2014, and we did not have a company account. Also, if I remember it right, we registered a company towards the end of 2014, or mid of 2014. So I still remember we holding that, cash in hand, and it was like a proud moment. 6 months of effort actually getting converted into an actual sale.
That's really a really nice moment. I mean, everyone just cannot
Yeah.
forget those moments.
Irres- Irrespective of what the amount is, how much the amount is, that's always something that inspires you. Your that's an acknowledgement of your work, right? I mean, someone is ready to pay for something I've built.
So that was a nice story about your first client. And now, as you started your company, it's been I think more than 11 years, 2014, right? 2013.
It's close to a decade now. So I would say 8 years, because 2015 is when we started our operations.
Okay.
Uh,
So
24.
any a project which you would like to remember means bring into picture where you think that it was way out of your lead, but you did it. I mean, a project which is way out of your lead or it is very much challenging, but still you did it. So any
Mhm.
that kind of project you would like to bring in front of us?
A lot of them actually.
Okay, all of
Maybe.
them.
Uh, I mean, in the initial years, I remember a project where we had to do a lot of web scrapping and all. I mean, it was a comparison website where we had to take data from Flipkart. We had to take it from eBay and Amazon. And I remember Flipkart had an API at that time. eBay and Amazon didn't have. So it was like a comparison website for comparing computer accessories. So during those times, that was a challenging project. In 2017, we had a very exciting project. It was in 2017 or 18, I think. Yeah, 2000. Yeah, it was in 2018. All right. Uh, so we had an exciting project from. I mean, that was like a first overseas project. That was a project from Switzerland, uh, where we had to build an e-commerce website, a custom one, which was a B2B e-commerce website in like 6 months, which had elements of WebGL in it as well, where you had to develop a solution where if the person wears the uniform, he would be able to take measurements and other things, through the system itself.
Okay.
So that was an exciting project, which I would say we've been able to achieve like a 60-70% success ratio in it, because the technology was also in its very nascent stage at that time. Another exciting project was when we started our company in UAE in 2019. We started getting some really exciting projects. Yeah, one project in that we always remember and that's close to our heart is an e-commerce project, where the project launch was a big event for us, because it was a platform that was selling cosmetic items and perfumes and things like that. But the amount of traffic that was generated on this platform, because the client already had a very good network of people, so the site crashed because we did not have the servers properly in place. But we were able to recoup in like in 2 to 3 days time. We moved the servers, and till this day, till the moment we speak, it's all good. It's been one of our long-standing clients as well. She's been with us for close to 4 years now. I mean, I'm sure you're also able to relate to this because you're also from the same field. The excitement of a project is when it is not during the delivery, or it's not even when you receive the payment from the client. It's when your project being used by a lot of people.
Right.
So the project that I was telling you about, before our call, we have launched a media application. I mean, launched as in we have developed a solution for one of the leading television channels in Kerala. So that went live yesterday. So we're getting a lot of good feedback. I mean, a lot of changes, a lot of. I mean, the eye of the customer is going to be different, because it's so far we've had like 5,000 downloads. So we're getting different kinds of opinions on certain elements. So it's always that's something that excites us, and that's something uh, that, at least for me, that's something that inspires me to wake up the next morning. Because if it's a very mundane thing, it's like any other job, right? So
Right.
here you always have those challenges, and this project, we had a very strict deadline as well. We had to do it in like 3 months, and I'm really proud of my team. They've pulled it off in a fantastic manner, I would say.
That's nice. You said that you moved to UAE in 2019. Now the code rhythm was born in Bangalore. Then how did it land in UAE? I mean, why or how was the
Uh,
transition?
So we started in Bangalore. So during 2015, I mean, I think from 2014 onwards, I used to keep coming to Dubai. At that time, I used to come on my visit visa, meet a couple of clients, close the projects, come back to India. So we are a company. We don't take a lot of works in a year. We take limited works because we are a custom solutions company. We understand the process of that company, and we try to devise solutions, whether it's a web application, mobile application, or a chatbot solution, or anything it can be. Uh, so it used to happen. It used to so happen that I used to come like once or twice in a year, and we used to have good amount of work, and then we used to deliver it from there. In 2019, one of our customer turned out to be our partner here in UAE, and now he's a partner of our UAE branch.
Okay.
Uh, so that helped us to reach newer territories or newer regions and newer geographies. So 2019 is when we started the company. I mean, we just got it registered. It was very recently, maybe like 6 months back, that I physically moved to Dubai. Till that time, I was back in India itself.
That's nice. I mean, that's a good
Mhm.
transition. I mean, the client is saying becoming your partner and then suggesting you to move overseas. That's a good thing.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
now, what are your future plans? I mean, where do you see, or what is your at least 5 years plan? I know, and
Uh,
the next day is not that much plan, and you asked him 5 years plan, but still he has a vision in his mind.
yeah. So especially in this technology field, 5 years is a very long time. So we have KPIs set for the year, and then we have a 1 year, 3 year plan. So as far as expansion is considered, we plan to expand to Saudi Arabia by the end of this year. We plan to set up an office there. We also have plans of setting up one in Europe, because we had very good client base in Europe, not directly, through our partners there. Partners as in, like, we used to have subsourced works from there. So these are the expansion side, and it might sound a little cliche, but AI is something that we are betting on. The media app that I mentioned to you about is an AI enabled app. So it gives you suggestions based on your interests. We have signed another project with a company in Hong Kong, which is again an AI recommendation engine. So we are investing heavily on Google's Vertex AI, machine learning algorithms, and things like that. So yeah, that's the major focus. And as I said a while ago, a product is still in the chart. So probably we'll be able to launch a successful product this year is what we are aiming for. We've had product launches in the past. One was the POS. Then we had home food delivery platform in 2017. Yeah, 2017, 2016, 2017 in Bangalore again. This did not take off. um, then we had a couple of other ideas as well, but always it's a service business that keeps you it keeps your accounts running. So it always is a necessity. So now we are working on certain AI related products, which we hope to launch out in the coming uh, months, if not weeks. Yeah.
That's nice. I mean, you have a goal now. You, I think so. You are going totally global now. You are not sticking to specific countries. So your future plan seems to be going global now. That's nice.
Uh, I see it as this way. I mean, an Indian company that has global presence. That's how I would like to put it.
That's nice.
Our development center is still in India. I mean, the kind of opportunities that you have uh, in India is enormous. The kind of business that you can generate from outside is equally there. So, I mean, the development center is going to be in India itself, but we want to have clients from across the world, or we want to work with people from across the world. That's our focus.
That's nice. So I think so. Let's conclude. Thank you very much for your time. And
Thanks a lot for having me, Aditya. It was nice talking to you. It was a great experience. So I hope I didn't bore you with my stories.
not at all, not at all.
So
Your journey is very nice. I mean, that's the reason we called you here to know your journey.
okay, thank you.
Yes, I hope you also enjoyed it.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me, man. Let's
Okay,
let's talk sometime again in the future again.
sure.